Hey everyone, and welcome back to another review. Today we are going to be finally taking a look at this, which is the NECA Predator Ultimate Bad Blood vs. Enforcer 2-pack. Now this 2-pack came out in 2019, I believe, and I was absolutely gutted that I missed out on it. I wasn't collecting NECA quite at that time because I'd had a bad experience with one of their Ultimate aliens and just decided, no, there's no way I'm doing that. But after quite a few people I watch posting about the Alien 40th anniversary line, I decided to get back into NECA, as you guys all know, and then I discovered that I missed out on these two awesome Predators, which were very, very hard to come by. Now, luckily, I knew this seller at the local toy fair that I attend quite regularly, who actually had these, and he very kindly put them aside for me and let me have them for an amazing price. Now, I've heard some nightmare stories about this set where it's coming complete, brand new, with missing accessories and even missing parts. I'm very happy to say that that is not the case here. Everything is complete. Everything just looks absolutely fantastic displayed in the box. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. So taking a look at the front of the box, you can see you've got this very nice comic book style artwork of the Bad Blood and the Enforcer, which I do believe both of these images were present on the original releases of these figures. As you can see, you've got that nice shiny font there. You've got the Bad Blood in more of a blood splatter versus the Enforcer, which has an almost kind of police. It's from that film, I can't quite remember, but it has that very nice blocky, almost action kind of font, which is really cool. You've got the traditional Predator logo in the middle just to kind of round it off, which is really nice. And then in the background for this box, you've actually got what appears to be different scenes from the comic book, just kind of mishmashed together. You've got the Bad Blood on this side. You can see those different images, then the Enforcer on this side, which is very cool. Turning the packaging to the side, you can see you've got some nice images of the Bad Blood figure displayed at the side with the mask on and mask off, which is very cool, featuring all new Ultimate Articulation, sword, spear, trophy heads and skulls, interchangeable head and hands. And then on the other side, you can see they've done the same thing for the Enforcer. You've got the masked and unmasked Enforcer featuring new Ultimate Articulation, backpack, spear, masked, open and closed discs, interchangeable head and hands. I would actually love to check out this comic, just because, seeing these figures has actually made me big fans of these characters. So you can see you've got these very nice publicity images of the picture. Love how they've sort of edited in a backdrop there. They almost have this comic book filter on them, which gives them a nice sort of comic booky appearance, which is really cool. Then you can see this is a part of the Darkhorse comics line, which you can see here. So you have the 25th anniversary Darkhorse comic Predator, and the Hornhead Predator, which I do have, which I will be reviewing at some point, Broken Tusk, which I don't, Machiko, which I also have, Ahab Predator, as you guys know, and these Predators here. So we'll be reviewing Machiko at some point as well. Underneath, it's just a load of legal guff, and of course, at the front, you're presented with everything in the box looking very, very nice. The two figures easily visible with their interchangeable heads and a plethora of accessories. I can't wait to get this open, guys. So without any further ado, let's get on to the figures. Okay, guys, we're going to start by taking a look at the Enforcer. So, yes, those of you with a keen eye will probably pick up straight away that this is basically just the Jungle Hunter, but with a different mask. And yeah, you'd be right. But one thing I will say that I absolutely love about this Predator is this sort of purple skin color that goes throughout the whole figure. A lot of people joked and said it actually does look a lot like blueberry yogurt, which is funny because, yeah, it actually does. And there's something really oddly satisfying about it. I think it works very, very well. They really have just made the colors complement each other really well. So as a base, you've still got that sort of skin color beige with some darker, more orangey spots in there. But then to really complete all of these more open areas, you've got this really nice blending of purple, even going into some lighter shades in some places, and then completely on his back, which is nice. And his dreadlocks are actually brown, which is interesting. So that's something unique. You can see the pattern and the purple continues behind the mask, which is very cool. Speaking of the mask, it is quite similar to the Jungle Hunter mask, except it has this big spike and these two bits protruding this way, and the edges are a bit sharper, but if you actually look at it, it does have a very similar design to the original Jungle mask. And you can see he's got very nice purple eyes there, which I really like. And this symbol here, which I'm guessing is a symbol for, you know, either the bounty hunter group that this predator's from, or he could be a police, like a sort of, I'm not sure because I haven't read the comic, but I'm guessing Enforcer suggests he's kind of a police officer, I suppose. So I'm guessing that symbol has something to do with that, but it's very cool that they've added it on there nonetheless. So yeah, this is basically just a Jungle Hunter body. Like, if you guys have seen the Jungle Hunter, you know everything to expect here. One difference is it does have the shuriken pouch from the City Hunter, which he does come with one to go in. Unlike the Jungle Hunter, however, this armor is much, much lighter. It's a much shinier silver, which I really like. It kind of shows a sort of sleekness and cleanness to it, which is in direct comparison with the other figure, which looks more, well, we'll get onto that shortly, but this really does look very, very nice. Very eye-catching colours. It really stands out on the shelf, and luckily, I've been very fortunate with mine. Haven't had any of the cables broke, which is a common problem with this. My wrist computer actually does work. No symbols painted on it, unfortunately, but that's still good. As you can see, you've got the purple continuing on the hands, which is really nice, and the feet. Overall, this is a really, really nice designer Predator. I mean, like I say, it's not too different from the Jungle Hunter, really, but I just think it works. It's very streamlined, it's very sleek, and I really like that about it. So before we get onto his accessories, we'll just take a look at the articulation. So head is on a very good ball peg joint, so you could do a 360 if you wanted to, because these dreadlocks are more bundled together and tied back, unlike the other one, which we'll get onto. We'll do a comparison. But the head can look really far forward, really far up. You've got a nice side-to-side pivot as well, and just really, really good range of motion. This arm can come right the way out, but mine is very stiff, so I'm not going to try and force it. You also have a full rotation bicep swivel. Now, unfortunately, you are supposed to have a double bend here, but my Predator sadly fell victim to quality control. Now, what I've managed to do, what me and my uncle have done, is we've actually put a metal rod in there because this snapped off. Now, normally I would just pop this off to show you guys, but I don't want to because I've managed to get it on there really secure. So I actually had to drill a hole into this joint because where it had snapped was right where this joint here began to start. So we had to drill through there, which has made this joint useless. Only this one works. And because of this, we still get rotation here, which I didn't want to sacrifice in case I wanted to get him in some unique poses, but sadly I can't bring this one all the way up like you're supposed to, which is a real shame. His blades can extend, and they do that really, really well. So it's a shame that I've had to do this. So that was really my one severe quality control issue with this set, is this arm just snapped straight off trying to move it, so that was a real shame. The hand does move back and forward, and you've got a rotation as well, but I'm really happy that I've been able to fix it and keep that rotation working. So on the next arm, you can bring it out, but you're going to have to be careful with this and also that tubing, which you don't want to break. Same with rotating. I don't recommend that you move this arm that much, and you're also not going to be able to get a double joint on this arm either, because if so, you're going to break this cable. So I can't get double bends on either of the arms, but gauntlet swivel on this side works fine. As I say, computer opens really nicely. It's on two little hinges. Full rotation on this hand, not restricted by anything, and forward and back. You do have a rotation at the ab crunch. Now, this should be able to go forward. It can go back and side to side slightly, but I always find these really stiff and really difficult to move. Another quality control with this Predator is the waist ball joint doesn't seem to be attached properly. It seems to push out to one side. I can fix this, but it just takes a bit of straightening it out. But unfortunately, whenever I try and move it, it just immediately slips back to that position. And this was quite a common problem on the Ultimate Jungle figure from what I saw. So, you know, a bit of a shame. Both legs can kick forward, but not too far because they're hindered by this very tough rubber PVC. They also have swivels, which is nice, works on both of mine. You can also bring them out to the side. This one is on a ratchet, so it's much harder to move, whereas this one moves very easily. It's very weird. I hate NECA's joint system at the waist. I really do. NECA, I know you're starting to do it with your newer figures, which is brilliant, but you need to sort your Predators out because I just hate this ball joint system. So you've got a very nice double bend for both of the legs. And then lastly, you have a ball joint at the foot, which thankfully isn't too loose on this Predator, so he does stand really, really well. So turning to accessories now, he does come with his alternate head, which I think has an absolutely brilliant look to it. Unfortunately, one of my eyes is going off to the one side, but I actually don't mind this. Just look how cool that looks. And the other one is a bit more centered. Now, apparently, depending on when you bought this set, you actually had two different heads. Some of you might have had a mouth that was a bit more open, and some of you would have had it really closed like this. Now, I'm happy I've got this one because, you know, I think I've already explained this, but this is how Predator dreads are supposed to be. They're supposed to cover the mouth, you know, to keep it... There's a great video on YouTube that explains, you know, why they've messed up the Predator tendrils, you know, why they've messed up the mandrels, sorry, and it's really great. You should go check that out because it just makes so much sense. And this is definitely the original Jungle Hunter's head, but the paint has been done so well. You've got this lighter beige in the center, sort of blending into an orange, and then you've got the purple with the black areas. Like I say, brown dreads. Very, very nice. You've even got these pink blotches on the face. Very nicely painted teeth. It's been given this sort of gloss to make it look really slimy, which is nice. It's so cool. I'll do a head swap for you guys in just a moment. He also does come with a separate mask, which doesn't really sit onto the face in any way, but like I say, you've got your masked head sculpt there. This looks really, really nice. And then what's cool is you also get the detail on the inside, which I love that NECA started to do this. They did it with the Ahab Predator as well, and that's just so cool. It kind of reminds me of Star Wars when Darth Vader's getting his helmet lowered on, and it's just like, yeah, you can see all the stuff inside. Very cool. And you do, of course, get a backpack and shoulder cannon like you do with practically all Predators that use this Jungle Hunter body. So it's nice that they've done that. And also, this is not loose in any way. It still has all of the same articulation, but it's very, very tight. And the ball joint actually works. So I've been very lucky here. You've got a really good articulation. Here, got a nice rotation, up, down, any way you want, and this moves forward and back. Don't want to move it too much, because then I will probably loosen it up. A little bit of a soft cable here, very nicely painted detail with that nice silver. As mentioned previously, he does come with his little shuriken disc, which is very, very nice. And you can get this to slot in the pouch, but it's not the easiest thing to do. And then lastly, he comes with a sculpted hand to hold it and his combi stick. So that's really cool. Very nice silver, just like that. And if you want to attach that, you swap out the left hand and just pop that in, which is how I will be displaying him. But no, very, very cool. So not too many accessories. The Bad Blood definitely has more accessories, which we'll get onto when we take a look at him. But overall, a really nice Predator. I am going to warn you now that you don't want to grab him by these bits, because if you squeeze them inwards, you stand a chance of snapping them, and the same goes for that. So try and grab either side of his dreads if you can, and just twist him off that way. Don't grab the helmet, just because it does have those extra protruding bits, so be careful with that. And then you can take your other head sculpt, which I've actually had him displayed with quite a lot, because I do really love that look. I don't know what it is. I like his mask, but I think I might actually end up displaying him like this, because I love that. I think, I'm just going to say it, I actually prefer that to the Jungle Hunter. Not even joking, I think the purple just complements it so well. If you want to attach his backpack, you simply just line up the pegs that you can see there with the two gaps. It is quite difficult to do, but with some practice, you will eventually get it. And so here we have the Enforcer Predator fully assembled. I did actually manage to get his disc in his pouch. Like I say, it just kind of sits there, but trying to get it in properly has always been a pain with these Predators. And I have to say, he looks absolutely fantastic. As I say, love the purple, really complements it, very nice color scheme, love the shiny armor, but I think the real star of this set is what we will get onto right now. Okay, and here we have the Bad Blood Predator. Now this, in my opinion, is definitely the standout figure of the set. Even though I do really love both of them, I'd say this is the one that really kind of makes you think, yeah, this set is something special. So taking a look at this Predator, he has a very, very unique design. So we'll just take a look at his biomask. Very, very cool. There's a lot of detail on this, which took me quite a long time to even notice, like the fact that one of his sort of eye guards is missing, and you can actually see the eye just showing through there, which is a really cool feature. You've got all this battle damage and texturing all over the top of the mask. The texture on this alone is very, very cool. And then you've also got all of this up here. Usually the lasers are on this side, but on this mask they're actually on the left. You have this very awesome bronze cable, which is actually textured, it's not smooth, and that's very, very cool. So there's nowhere in particular to plug it into on the back, but you can just kind of slot it wherever you want. Just gives it a more awesome, more sort of technological feel to it. I wish they'd do that with more of the Predator masks, because that really is cool. It would just add a whole lot more detail to it. And then taking a look at the body, you can see that this is the City Hunter body, but you can see that the armor is very different. The City Hunter armor is more of a sort of ancient look with technology, which I do really like, but personally I've always preferred the Jungle Hunter look. But I think for this Predator it works exceptionally well. Now the idea with this Predator, as it said on the box, is he's meant to be like a psychopath serial killer. He kills humans or any aliens he finds, not for sport but just for the fun of it, and he even kills predators as well. Now the one problem I have with this is I think the skull is a little bit too small, but I know this is messed up, but that could be like a predator child or something he's killed and he's put the skull on his shoulder. But that is so cool. I love the paint apps, looks very creepy. You've got all these spines here, these sort of remnants of spines, and then on his knees you've got skulls. It's so cool, and we haven't even gotten to the accessories yet. So as you can see, you've got all of the standard rubber armor. You have this, which has always annoyed me with the City Hunter body, this kind of pouch that he wears, which is connected by these two strings. It's always loose and flopping about all over the place, and I can never seem to get it to sit where it's supposed to sit, but that basically just covers up his area. And then you've got the disc pouch, which will not work for his disc because it's open. Got a bit of armor here. You've got the leg guards, which have had spinal pieces added onto them. Same with the wrist guards, actually. So there has been some difference in sculpt here. Other than the original, you've got quite a lot of armor on his back. As you can see, this shoulder piece with the bones just covering that. And you've got his dreads all looking very nice as normal. In terms of his color scheme, he does actually have some similarity to the Enforcer, which is cool. Not quite as much purple, but definitely some noticeable purple patches, which I believe differs to the original, which once again was more of a pink. And his skin color is much more dark. You do have the beige still in there, but there's a lot more orange and browns, just much darker in general. And as you can see on the back, he's not just completely one color. You do have his rubber butt piece, which is hilarious. And yeah, I love the color of his armor, this sort of purpley burgundy color. Very, very nice. And you also notice that he does have triple blades instead of double, so that's very much like the Ahab Predator, which is very, very cool. A lot of very unique things about this Predator, which I like. His wrist computer does open, although the City Hunter's opens in the opposite direction, which is really strange. But yeah, that does open like that, which is cool. And he does also have a nipple ring here, which is quite funny. He also does have a ring on his swappable head, which I'll get onto in just a moment. So the City Hunter articulation does differ slightly from the Jungle Hunter, so you can bring the arms much further out to the sides, which is cool. There's a full 360 at the bicep swivel. This is the case on both sides, although this skull is going to hinder that. You've got a very nice and simple double bend at the elbow, so yes, my double bends work on this Predator. As said previously, the blades do extend, and these are triple blades, which is very, very cool. There is also gauntlet rotation. The hands can move forward and back and rotate just like on the Enforcer. However, on this one, they are hindered by that little spinal piece there, so just be careful when moving that. With the head, you've got a full rotation as well as side to side, and you can look really far forward and reasonably far up, which is nice. Now, unfortunately with mine, there has been a bit of a quality control thing on my chest piece. You can see it hasn't quite been clipped on there as well as it should, but the good bit about that is it is a lot easier to move. So you have got a full 360, you can come quite far forward and quite far back, but it does need to have some adjustments here and there. But it's just a shame that hasn't been clipped on as well as it could do, because it does leave quite a noticeable gap there. You do have a full rotation at the waist, just like the Jungle Hunter, only with his legs you have far more movement, so you can bring them really far forward due to the lack of these sort of PVC pieces here. You've got a lot more freedom to move the legs, which is why there are a few people who do prefer the City Hunter body. You can also bring them out to the side, but just like the Jungle Hunter, it's on that strange ratchet joint thing on this leg. There is a swivel on both legs, and I'm very happy to say that both of mine work, because there's a big issue with the City Hunter body, and that one of the legs always seems to get stuck. That's quite a common issue, but no, straight out of the box, both of my swivels worked. On both of the legs, you do have double bends at the knees, so in spite the skulls being on the front, you can still bring them right the way back, which is very, very cool. And then lastly, you do have ball joints at the foot, so you can take from side to side, forward and back, and do full rotations. So first of all, we're going to take a look at his weapons. So he comes with this very awesome kind of Predator blade style machete, which as you can see has got a lot of blood dripped all over it, which is very nice. The handle has got a sort of material wrapped around it, and I think a sort of bone at the end, which is very cool. But yeah, love the sort of Predator blade design to this. I believe this has come with a few other Predators in the past, so this is a part reuse, but it's really nice nonetheless. And he also does come with this really giant spear, which is nice. It's got a nice shiny silver tip, and then you've got these sort of spikes coming out of it. Just gives it a very handmade kind of feel to it. No other colours in there, sadly, but it does have a little wash over it, which is nice. There is actually a little rubber piece at the back where if you want to, you can take your spear. Now, it's quite fiddly to do this. It did take me a couple of attempts before I got it the first time, and you can actually store your spear, so that's really, really cool. The Predator does come with, I think, 2 hands to hold it. However, I can only get the weapons in this hand. This hand is just far too open wide to grip any of them. Next up is his shuriken, which I really like the design of. Unfortunately, nothing on this side. You've just got your standard silver paint, but on this side you've got all this really cool electricity, and that really does stand out. Looks very, very cool. This can be placed into his right hand, which, as I'll show you in the photography, is specially sculpted to hold it, which is nice. And now something very interesting for this Predator, we actually have some cosmetic accessories. So these are accessories that you can actually add onto your Predator to enhance his appearance if you want to. So starting off, you actually come with 2 alien skulls. I'd say they're like tiny alien creatures that this Predator has killed at some point, and as you can see, it comes with a little soft piece of plastic here which enables you to hook it onto anywhere that you want to. Now there are multiple places you can put these. You could put it on the edge of the skulls down here if you wanted to. You could hang it on one of the Predator's tusks, or you could put it on the spines, which I like to do because I think it sort of balances the Predator out. You know, you've got a big skull this side, so I find that hanging them here kind of makes it look more even, and which I really do like. So it's entirely up to you guys, which I quite like. You know, the fact that you can hang it anywhere you want to means that you can have this Predator looking however you want him to. And the coolest accessories of the whole bunch, I think, have to be these severed faces, which I think are just so creepy. They've got such a very good amount of detail in there. As you can see, very gruesome, especially I like the detail on this one especially. And then if you turn those around, you can see the brain and all the inside of the head. You can even see the skull, and they've had these metal hooks kind of drived into them. Now I find that the best place to hang these for me is actually on his sort of loose piece here, and then they can just simply sit over with the hooks and just sit on the front of the Predator looking really gruesome. Next up we have a spare dreadlock. Now this is actually from the comic. I think he gets one of his dreadlocks cut off. I'm not really sure where you can keep this on the figure, to be honest. I can't really see any place of storing it. So, you know, you may just want to keep this in the box, or you may want to put it in his hand or wherever, but, you know, just be careful because, you know, I can picture this being lost very easily. So it's cool enough. And last but ever so not least, of course, much like the Enforcer, this Predator does come with a swappable head, which is very cool looking. I love that you actually have this ring here. Just gives him a very kind of hippie kind of look. He does have this special kind of tattooing, which you can see more of the design of the creature in the comic book artwork on the box. Dreadlocks really nice and soft. Once again, you've got the purple at the back sort of leading into the more beige colours at the front. Got much more bigger mandrels on this one. His eyes are glowing red, so there's no dots or anything. His eyes just seem to be completely red, almost giving him the idea that, you know, he's completely evil. He's a psychopath. Very cool. I love the textures and patterns. Now this is the City Hunter head sculpt, and you can tell because it has that more spikiness at the front that they've reused, but that's okay because I think it works very effectively. And then you can have this very deadly looking, much more animalistic Bad Blood Predator. And so here you can see the two Predators stood together. They look absolutely amazing. It really looks as though the fight of the century is going to kick off. So overall, what do I think of this 2-pack? Absolutely brilliant. Initially, if I hadn't have had the quality control issues, I would be giving this a solid 9 out of 10. But unfortunately, due to the issues I've experienced, I have to be reasonable. I have to be fair. And I'm going to give this a 7.5. I would love to give it higher, guys, but, you know, having toys break on you straight out the box just isn't really a good thing. And as I say, the joint here on his midsection could be a lot better. But I absolutely love the paintwork. I love the sculpt. I love the accessories. In fact, I'm just going to say it. I think these are not only two of my favorite Predators, but I think this is the best NECA set that I have in my collection. I think these are my two favorites, and if you guys haven't added them to your collection, you've got to go out and try and find them. As I say, try and pay a reasonable price for them. Don't go too overboard, and understand that there have been some nightmare stories in this set about quality control, obviously some of which I've experienced, so just take that into account when you're looking for them. Who knows, NECA may reissue or re-release these one day. That would be really nice, but for now, I am excited extremely happy with these two. They will definitely be taking front and center on my display without a doubt. I absolutely love them and I can't recommend them enough. So thanks ever so much for watching this video, guys. Let me know down in the comment below what you think. Be sure to like the video and share with friends to help my content get out there as much as possible. Thanks ever so much for tuning in, guys. Stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.